Hey guys, welcome to the webinar. People should be coming in right now. If you are watching the replay, hopefully it works. Welcome. We're going to be starting in a little bit under 15 minutes. So hold on tight, and Perrin is essentially going to do the presentation. I see people logging in right now. So welcome everyone. We're going to have a lot of stuff to share with you today. Unlike a lot of the webinars you might see from other places, this webinar is actually going to be teaching you tactics and stuff. So we're going to try to be actionable. Essentially, we're going to try not to be too vague, etc., on the tactics we talk about, and so you can actually walk away with stuff you can do for your own site, etc. By the way, I'm Gael, and there's Perrin, and there's Mark on the call as well. So you get all three of us today.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Can you guys hear us properly and see the screen, by the way? Just so we make sure that everything works, because I might have been speaking to nobody right now. So I just want to make sure that I didn't do that, but I can see people logging in right now. So hopefully they can hear us. Hello, hello. I can hear you and see the screen. Yes to both. Okay, awesome. So I actually don't need to redo that. So in case you just logged in, because I see people logging in like not all at the same time, we are starting in 12 minutes right now. This is actually a live webinar. A lot of people are asking when we do these webinars, like, is this live or is this recorded? This is live. Perrin Tong might twist mine too. Please be nice if it happens. But this is 100% live.
100% live. And if you guys don't know, Gail and Mark stayed up until 2:30 in the morning where they are to be here. So
it's actually 2:50 right now.
2:50. Not only is it live, they're going to be like messing up.
But you might hear us snoring, you know?
Yeah.
So that might happen. Help me be on my side to 200K. Perrin can do that. Yeah,
sure.
I can't do that. Where's everyone from? Is everyone from the US and Canada here? Or is there people in other places right now?
Yeah, is anyone else up in the middle of the night like us?
You know what makes it even worse is, like I was telling Perrin, in Budapest right now, it's like really cold. It's like minus 19 outside. I mean, it's really, really cold. Like the river is frozen and stuff. And it's a weird thing to be up at this time, like in the middle of the winter, etc. We got people in Singapore.
Oh, wow.
USA Pacific time. Well, I guess it was worse.
That's like dinner time.
We have someone in Romania. So that means it is the same time as us right now. Actually, it's 1 hour later, isn't it?
I think it's the same time.
Yeah, it is actually. New Zealand, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is late as well. Ooh. Australia. Yeah, Australia. You guys have a nice part of the day. Las Vegas. Yep, we got a lot of people from very far away from where Mark and I are, essentially. We're in Europe. We got India as well. We got Colorado. Yeah, all over.
Colorado.
Love Colorado.
Never been. Sorry.
I've been once.
Best place in the world for skiing and snowboarding.
Oh, okay. I thought you were mentioning the weed or something like.
I went to Colorado.
That's the one thing I know it for, you know.
Yeah, the one time I went with my brother Eric to see a girl, and we got there and back for like a week, starting with only $90. It was like very crazy.
Oh, we got people Oregon, we got Arizona, we got Russia as well. Russia is late. Oh, wow, it's like either you wake up early or you need to go to bed earlier.
Depends which part of Russia, really. If you're in
I guess
this morning. So
yeah, wow. Yeah, actually, It's not bad. Delaware, USA. We got Seattle, etc. Cool. Like a lot of people from everywhere. Definitely Europe is sleeping though. I can see that this is not a European webinar, but that's okay. We are starting in 9 minutes, guys. Just letting people log in. We're gonna start on time because the presentation is actually pretty long. I think like an hour of parent talking essentially. And then we're going to have a Q&A at the end. So you're going to be able to ask us questions. I think we'll be around for like half an hour after, answering whatever question you have about the presentation or about anything we talk about on Authority Hacker, or if you want to ask us very personal questions, well, maybe not, but the rest, yes. So we'll do that. We got people from Arizona. There's Thomas here, friends in Seattle as well. Delaware, woo. Yeah, Indonesia as well. Yeah, Indonesia. It's the morning right now. You guys are just waking up, actually. I know that because we actually have a new person working with us on Authority Hacker. He might be here actually, Lewis, who is in Chiang Mai right now. He's waking up as we were just getting into the webinar. So it's kind of like we're basically online 24/7 between Perrin in the US, Lewis in Asia, and us in Europe. Essentially, Authority Hacker has someone online at any time at this point now. In Eastern EU, we're like vampires sleeping during the day and during the night. You know, Dracula, our ancestors. Yeah. I guess Dracula is from Romania, so that explains a lot. Janice from Texas. Cool. By the way, I had a survey that I put on the thank you page of the webinar when you registered that said, have you guys built a profitable site before? So can you guys write yes or no to see like who has built profitable sites before and who hasn't in the audience right now? So if you have, write yes, and if you haven't, write no. So just so we get an idea of like what kind of crowd we get tonight, and you know, what the ratio of beginners to maybe more advanced people we have in the audience. That'd be cool to know. I see 3 no's. I see yes, a small one. Define profitable. Profitable means that you make more money than you spend on it. That's simple. Yes for Mike and Kevin. No. Lisa, yes. Rick, no. Okay, it's a mixed crowd. There is people, you know, making profits, but yeah, like for example, Zach says he got the equivalent of a minimum wage from a website. So, you know, didn't become a millionaire or anything yet, but hey, build profitable sites. Wow, I see a lot of yeses actually. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I see a lot of yeses, but people that have, you know, small income from their websites. I guess you guys are trying to like make more money for these sites, etc. Which I think you're gonna get a few tips that should be helpful for that. I see people are still logging in, so hey guys, welcome. We are starting in 5 minutes. The presentation is going to be around an hour, and then around 30 minutes of Q&A with Perrin, Mark, and I. Perrin is going to do the presentation. He worked really hard on that presentation, so please be nice. It's also going to be 100% live, which means that his tongue can twist, or like PowerPoint can act crazy, or his computer can just do things that we don't expect. That's what happens in live. So if that happens, please bear with us. We'll do our best to, you know, make this go back to normal, essentially. He had a dozen sites, but no Authority sites yet. The most I made was $400 with all my sites total for a month. Yes, I can hear you, and the screen is perfectly visible. Cool. So we have a lot of people that have started building sites, but you know, didn't build sites that they say made a lot of money, essentially. And we have a lot of people that didn't build profitable sites. So I think you guys will like what we talk about tonight, because you know, the sites that we build, they make thousands of dollars per month pretty much every time at this point. Not right away, it takes some time, but we're definitely in the, you know, we definitely bring them to a point where we could live off them several times. So that should be quite useful. And I think some of the tips that you don't expect, for sure. Stuff around the branding, etc., which is very important for white hat link building. I see more people logging in, so welcome, guys. We are gonna start in 4 minutes, and yeah, presentation is gonna be an hour. Hello, I'm gonna have to leave in about 40 minutes. Apologies when you see me disappear. No worries, Jen. You can come in and come out. This is essentially an open door. So no problem at all. So another 4 minutes. In India, it's 7:26 a.m. Well, here it's 2:56 a.m.
It always puzzled me how India has like a half-hour
Half
time
hours.
difference.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Makes sense actually. If you look at when I go to France compared to here, which is much more in the west, literally there's like an hour of sunlight difference, and we're on the same time zone. So it's not a bad thing necessarily. 8:57 in Thailand. Will there be a replay? We'll try. Thing is like it's planned that there will be a replay. However, webinar, Jam, and whatever webinar tools you use usually, 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 times they just mess up the replay. So if you really care about that presentation, I highly recommend that you stay live. But if we can, we'll put a replay up.
There's more Europeans coming in. Ricky from Netherlands, Sergio from Spain as well. 3 a.m. in the morning. Nice.
Yeah.
This better be good.
Day as well, right? Spin
I can't
stream.
believe you guys are staying up this late to see this presentation.
Oh, it's not just us, right? There's like Sergio who's in Spain. There is Ricky who's in the Netherlands, etc. We all know the same time zone here. We got that person from Romania as well. So like, yeah, a few of us are up at this time actually. Hey, Leo. Leo just logged in. So as I wanted to say again, 100% live. So things can happen in live that weren't expected. But it also means we actually can read your chat and answer your questions, as you can see right now. We got a hello from China, from Quincy. We got Joe, it's 5 a.m. where he is. Jackie, 6 p.m., Hollywood, Los Angeles. Okay, now I'm jealous. Ron, just logged in as well. So welcome, everyone. Another 2 minutes, and we'll get started. Medellin, I heard it's a great city. A friend of mine has an apartment there and just loves spending half the year there and half the year in Budapest, actually. Detroit, we got people from Vancouver, Japan. We literally cover most countries just with that webinar. We got Kevin from Washington State. Cool. So, Perrin, warm up your voice because you're starting in a minute.
1 minute.
1 minute left. Okay, we got Antonio. Welcome. We got LA as well. Yeah, we got a lot of America. I think that it was a good idea to have that webinar. It's just like the reason we usually don't do this is because, well, it's super late for us. We got Jojo from Cebu as well. I went to Cebu, cool city actually. I love the Philippines. We got Jen in Perth. Florida, wow, a lot of people logging in right now, so it's gonna be exciting. If you have any questions, by the way, guys, we're gonna mark them on the chat and we're gonna answer them after the presentation because Perrin's gonna talk fast and there's gonna be a lot of things that we talk about that you need to pay attention to. So we'll mark them down, and if we know they're gonna be answered in the presentation, we know we're gonna expect you to pick up the answer from the presentation. And if they are not answered in the presentation, we'll actually bring them back up during the Q&A. So David's asking, will there be a replay? There hopefully will be a replay, but as I said, webinar tools sometimes they 1 in 3, 1 in 4 times they mess up the replay. So if you care about that presentation, you definitely should watch it live because I want to have a replay, but I can guarantee there will be one. All right, I think it is time. So Perrin, I'm gonna let you take it over, and I'll see you guys in the Q&A.
All right. Well, welcome to the webinar. What?
You're a little bit echoey. Like, I don't know if you have speakers or something, but
How's that? A little bit
That's
better?
fine.
okay, nice, good.
Okay, yeah. So welcome to the webinar. Very excited to have you here, especially all of you crazy people who are staying up late. Like Gail said, this is going to be a little bit different, we hope, than most webinars. We're not at all going to be vague here. We are really going to try to teach you the tactics that I use to turn HerePup into an authority site worth $200,000 plus in just under 2 years. Full disclosure here, I'm getting over a cold, so you might hear me cough. You might hear me clear my throat. It's a little bit worse today, even though I'm feeling a little bit better. So just bear with me. First of all, who is this Perrin guy? Some of you guys might know me. I've been around the interwebs for quite a while now. I've been at a few different blogs, but Authority Hacker has been my home for the last year or so. And some of you might have seen my case studies, but I've been building full-time websites since 2013. Before that, if you didn't know, I was really just a cubicle monkey. So right out of grad school, I got a quote unquote good job at a huge global consulting firm. And for like the first month I was there, I was really trying to convince myself that I loved it. And then around like the 3-month mark, I was just like, man, this is just killing me. And I knew that I needed a way out. So what I did was just start pounding through business books and business blogs pretty much whenever I could. And that was like every single lunch break, every single commute, every time I was on the train, every night, every weekend. And I was, in short, absolutely determined to get out of there and start making my own money. And along that journey, to say the very least, there were quite a few ups and downs. So I don't want you guys to laugh at me here. These are a few of my failures. There are actually quite a few more than are on this slide, but these are some of the big ones in the online marketing arena. So I had a nursing site. That was one of my first tries. That failed. I had a poetry site, and that failed. I had a gaming site, and that failed miserably. I also, believe it or not, tried to write and sell a dating ebook, and that actually made $18.50. But you can't live off of $18.50 in Chicago, so I still call it a fail. After a little while, with a little help from a guy named Spencer Hawes, who helped me understand the process, I eventually landed on my first real success. So this is it. This is that first real success. This is a pennyshave.com. If you were following along with this case study, maybe you remember it. It's kind of funny for me to come to look back on this now, knowing what I know. But at its peak, it was earning about $4,000 a month. At the time, for me, that was essentially a second full-time salary. So needless to say, when this site started making that much money, I was absolutely stoked. Little did I know, and you guys might remember this too, I was doing it wrong. I was breaking Google's rules, and I kind of had an inkling that I was doing that, but I didn't know how serious it was. And my site really wasn't as high quality as I thought. So long story short, I lost my entire business overnight, and I had to say goodbye to that $4,000 a month, and I was really and truly devastated. But for me anyway, when something that painful happens and when I suffer that big of a loss, it kind of motivates me. Maybe some of you guys are like that too. So this is kind of like looking back on my history. This is when I started getting serious about online marketing. I tried to learn a lot more. I tried to learn how really smart people were doing it. I tried to innovate on the tactics I was learning. I tried to systemize stuff. I also met this really insane person named Gail, who had been doing white hat marketing and real marketing for a long time. And he started teaching me stuff, and we became pretty good friends. But 6 months after pennyshave.com, and after a bunch of learning and soul searching, I created herepup.com, and you can see it there. Here are a few earning screenshots. This is actually a little bit dated now. So when these screenshots were taken, the site was doing like $7,500 a month. Now it's up near 5 figures a month. So the site's doing really well money-wise. And here is a, excuse me. This is one of my big milestones. This is when the site crossed like 1 million visitors total, which is something that I had really never done. More importantly, though, for my career, this is when I first felt like I'd created an actual authority site. So this is just kind of cool. But I was learning these new tactics. And HerePup as a site allowed me to experiment with all that quote unquote real marketing and the skills that I was developing. And I learned and I refined and I tweaked and I systemized until I ended up with a well-oiled machine. And I'm not talking about just a site. I'm talking about, what I was doing behind the scenes. So to start, I started with a small loan of $1 million. Now, that might seem like a lot of money to some of you. No, I'm joking, guys. I just wanted you to wake up, especially if your name is Gail and Mark. I need everybody awake. Obviously, I didn't spend $1 million. I started with a small investment of $2,000. And really, I got the site up for like $200. And I spent maybe $1,000 in the first 2 months or so. And the rest of that was spaced out over maybe 6 months. And with that investment, I was able to turn the site into an asset worth over $200,000. And even cooler, it was producing more money per month than any job I had ever had. And the best part to me is that it was mostly passive. So it took a lot of work up front, like these things usually do. But after that, it was pretty much passive. And that's like the unicorn we're all chasing, right? Is that passive income. And this site was doing that. So I'm going to show you as much of those systems as I can on the webinar. Really, I want you to learn stuff that you can take away with you so that you can get started on your own authority site. And to do that, I want to try to give you just as much of that as I can in 90 minutes or whatever. Real quick, though, please put away distractions. Like Gail said, these webinar platforms are finicky. We are going to try to send out a replay. Sometimes they mess up. And this webinar certainly won't be saved forever. So if you have Skype out, if you have Facebook out, if you have Overwatch out, please put it away, because if you're not paying attention, you might not get to watch it again. And this might just be a waste of time. So we don't want that. Also, if you stay till the end, I'm going to give you a gift. So what I'm hoping for is that at the end of the webinar, you're going to be excited and want to start a site yourself. So I handpicked a list of profitable niches that you can use to go do that. If you stay till the end, I will give that to you. Okay, so let's dive into this thing. HerePup was built with what we now call the authority site system. In that system, there are 3 stages, and I'm going to break these down in a second. But for our purposes today, it's important to know that HerePup spent its entire first year as a stage 1 site. At the end of that first year, it was making about $4,000 a month. So it was a 1-year-old site, a 1-year-old stage 1 site rather, and it was earning me basically a full-time salary. And actually the elements of stage 1, the things that I built in stage 1, continued to grow even after we moved into stage 2 and stage 3. And again, I'm going to break these down here soon. So first I want to just talk about what stage 1 means. So stage 1 sites are essentially SEO-driven affiliate sites. These are sites that use SEO to generate all their organic traffic, and they focus on product reviews to generate affiliate commissions. So real quick for context, I want to talk about how stage 1, because it's important to remember and understand stage 1, how that fits into the overall model. So the whole system contains 3 stages. And of course, this is not the only way to build authority sites. But the reason we like to break it up into these 3 stages is that we found it's the quickest way to get a fast ROI so that you can use the capital that your site is generating to bootstrap the rest of the stages and really create something that is worth hundreds and thousands of dollars, right? So stage 1 is the foundation of that. These are the sites like we just talked about. They rely on organic traffic from Google, and they focus on product reviews. In stage 2, we add stuff like display ads, email lists, informational content, social media traffic. Stage 3 has all of that same stuff, but we also start creating our own products. So you see products up there in the top right corner. Real quick though, we do break the authority site model down into 3 stages, but it's not about profit. There are lots of examples of sites that stay in stage 1 and make a killing. So the easy example here is the Wirecutter.com. This was a true stage 1 site, so all of its traffic was from organic sources, and all of its revenue came from affiliate commissions from product reviews. And they just sold to the New York Times for $30 million. So it's not about profit, it's really about the business model. Okay, so why build a stage 1 site? Why do you want to build a site that is first focusing on SEO and product reviews before you move on to stage 2? And why is it important to master this before we move on? Well, the first reason, excuse me, is that the ROI is really just insane for that business model in particular. So I started HearPup with like $2,000. Really, the bulk of the site in stage 1 was started with about $1,000, and now it's worth over $200,000. There is almost no other investment in the world, guys, that can get you this kind of return. And with the later stages of the authority model, while they are definitely still worth it, they don't produce that kind of ridiculous ROI that stage 1 produces. And in fact, Gail did a big study on our blog, authorityhacker.com, and it surveyed a bunch of bloggers and how they made money, and he found that as far as like stuff that happens on a website goes, affiliate marketing is the highest profit activity you can do, and this is one of the reasons it's the cornerstone of stage 1. So second reason is that they're easiest. So internet marketing is difficult. Okay. Some of you guys may know this. I certainly found it out when I was, failing my way to success, essentially. But when you try to learn all the skills at once, usually it makes it easier to fail. Stage 1 sites, the combination of skills you need to make one of these tends to be in a weird kind of Goldilocks zone. So you do learn a lot, you do pick up skills, but they're so focused that it tends to be much more achievable, and success tends to be much more likely. So it really is easy, and in fact, there are only 4 steps. So I want to give you a bird's eye view of these 4 steps, and we're going to dive into each of these and see how they fit into the stage 1 model as we go through the rest of the webinar. So first one is picking the right niche. This is something I see people get wrong, and it probably wastes the most time. Second one is creating a credible site. By credible, I mean good looking and legitimate looking. Actually legitimate. The third step is publishing content that actually sells. So I also see this mistake a lot. I see people publish content that does not sell or does not attract traffic. And number 4, cue scary music here, is building links. If you're scared of link building, like lots of people are, and like I was, please bear with me, because I promise you it is not as difficult as you think, probably, and I'm going to show you the easiest possible way to get really powerful, legitimate links towards the end of the presentation. So those are the 4 steps we're going to cover today. Those are the 4 steps of building a stage 1 authority site, just like HearPup. My promise to you then is that by the end of the webinar, you will understand those 4 steps, and you'll have knowledge you can use afterwards to go build your own stage 1 site. And it's going to include some peeks behind the scenes of my website, some examples, and a couple of secret hacks that I really haven't shared with anybody besides Gail and Mark. So is that something you want to see? If it is, let me know in chat. I always like to ask this because if you are not here to see something like this, then we don't have to do it. But if it is something you want to see, then let me know with like a yes or a 1 in chat. I'm already seeing some good responses. So I'm going to take that as a good sign, and we can move on. I'm happy you guys want to see it because I'm stoked to show it to you. So step 1 is picking the right niche. And this really is extremely important, mostly because your time is valuable. If you get the niche wrong, then you are essentially going to waste all the money it takes to start a stage 1 site, plus the year-ish that you need to wait to be certain that it's not working. So this is very important. It's going to be the cornerstone of your site. The obvious question then is, what makes a good niche? Well, for stage 1 sites, especially, there's a bit of a formula, and it really boils down to three things. First, you need niches in which there are people ready to buy. You also need products to sell, because the way we're making money in stage one is affiliate commissions. To make that money, we need to be able to review and recommend products. And finally, of those three main requirements, the last one is you need the SEO required to rank in Google and get traffic to be achievable. That means you can do it with your resources and your skills. So those are the three requirements. I want to talk about the types of niches where you can usually find this stuff, so you can start brainstorming. So these are the real gold mines. The first one is passion niches. This is going to be stuff like cooking. I like to think of these as hobbies on steroids. Also, I tried to pick the cheesiest stock photos I could find, because who doesn't love the? And that's actually, Gail helped me with these. So Gail is the guilty one here. He picked the cheesiest stock photos. But passion niches are the first type. Lifestyle niches are the second type. Lifestyle niches are stuff where if you ask people who they are, they would list that thing as part of their identity. It's going to be stuff like parenting. Two other easy ones would be like runners or like DIYers or maybe homeowners. And the third type of niche that usually meets the three main requirements is problem niches. And that's going to be stuff like skincare or back pain or acne, stuff like that. So why are these niches so good? Mostly they're good because there are lots of people spending money, and that's what we want. To illustrate, let's look at a quick example, and we can look at the passion niche cooking. So first of all, with passion, lifestyle, problem niches, there tend to be bigger audiences. So we're on the food Reddit here, which is essentially just a cooking community. There are 9.5 million people, which is absolutely massive. Now, I'm not saying you need a big Reddit community for your site. I'm saying that this is a good illustration of just how big this community is. Also, these types of niches tend to have lots of products and buyers. Excuse me. So here we're on the Amazon page for blenders, and you can see that there are just thousands and thousands of people buying these products. So you can imagine if that's just one product in the cooking niche, how big is the niche really, and how much money is changing hands? This tends to be the case for all passion and lifestyle niches and problem niches most of the time. Another major perk of these kinds of niches is that they tend to have significantly more marketing opportunity. By that, I mostly mean a link building opportunity, right? Because stage one sites focus on organic traffic. A major component of that is building links. If you're in a passion, lifestyle, or problem niche, there tends to be many more bloggers, and that means there are a lot more people to reach out to, so they're easier to market. Finally, there tends to be big communities. This isn't essential for stage one, but we like to keep it in mind for like stage two when we do add social media traffic. And here is for the cooking niche. This is Tasty's fan page. It's run by BuzzFeed. It's got 78 million likes, which is absolutely ridiculous, frankly. So what is here, Pup? I would say it's lifestyle and passion. More lifestyle than passion. People identify as dog owners, but they also kind of treat them as hobbies. And I knew that. I knew that going in. It's one of the reasons I like the niche. I knew that there were some lifestyle elements and there were some passion elements. I knew the market was huge, et cetera, but that's where I started. So how do I use this? Well, if I'm looking to start a new site, my initial brainstorming session will usually just be me trying to come up with 10 or 20 ideas. And the only criteria for that first brainstorm is that they are passion, lifestyles, or problems. After I do that, I start doing some short listing and some research. So I use the only criteria of like passion, lifestyle, and problem niches to brainstorm a list. And when I have a list, I use 9 other criteria to weed out the ones that might not work. And I know that's a little bit weird to wrap your mind around, so I'm just going to show you the actual spreadsheet that I use. So we've got these 3 main requirements for a good niche. We need a bunch of people, we need products, and we need a way to get organic traffic from Google. So you can see that these are the 3 big chunks here in the spreadsheet. And then I break those down into 9 other criteria. So for people, I'm asking, are there big sites doing well? Are there small sites doing well? And is this a passion, lifestyle, or problem niche? And I will assign a ranking for each one of those. For products, I'm looking for stuff like, are there physical products to sell? Are there info products to sell? And do sites seem to be making ad revenue? And then I will assign a rating for each of those. For SEO potential, I'm asking, is it easy to find keywords? Are they low competition? And are there other niche sites ranking? And then my spreadsheet here, I've got a custom algorithm at the end that gives it a rating. You can see that I've done it for dogs, but I would do it for all 10 or 20 of those niches. And the idea here is not to be precise. It's just to weed out the stuff that's bad and to pick 2 or 3 really good ones. By the way, that spreadsheet's part of the new course. I'm going to show you how to get it at the end. It's one of the, I think, most useful things that we have come up with, and I use it every time I start a new site. So I use that spreadsheet to shortlist 2 or 3 good niches that look good at a glance using those criteria. Then I dive deeper. So we do, of course, have an extremely in-depth process for doing detailed niche research. We only have so much time here, so I'm going to kind of give you the abbreviated version. And the first part of that is to identify competitors. This is really important for lots of reasons. We use this in lots of parts of the business, but for niche research, it's also important. You usually want to shoot for like 10 or 20. So the way I like to do that is I will first pick a niche, and then I will just Google a few common sense keywords. So here I'm imagining I'm hypothetically looking at the paintball niche. And so I just Googled one common sense keyword, which is best paintball guns. And I've got Ahrefs bar, which is a Chrome extension, open. Excuse me. So that I can kind of assess the strength of the sites and the pages ranking. If you haven't used Ahrefs bar, you could also use Mozbar, which will show you the PA and DA. Lots of people are more used to that. But what you're looking for is sites that are relatively weak. And when I say weak, what I usually mean is that I think I can achieve that in about a year. So I like to see weak sites ranking for just a few common sense keywords. Then I'll click through to them, and I will use the SimilarWeb Chrome extension, which is free, to check the traffic. And of course, more traffic is better. I'm looking for weaker sites or sites that I think I can compete with that also have decent traffic. If I find a good target, a weak site that has good traffic, I will use another free extension called Similar Sites to try to find more sites like that. And that's really how I get my list of competitors. Then I will look at product opportunity on Amazon. And of course, we want to do this because we want stuff to sell. And if there's not stuff to sell, it's not going to be a good niche for us. So the way I do that is I'll just head over to Amazon and I'll visit both the general category and the subcategories. And I will record the types of products there. And I will record the brands. And I will just note the raw number of products and reviews, because we want to see lots of types of products and lots of people buying them. So here we're in paintball again. I might record this Tippmann as one of the brands, and then I might click through on the sidebar to try to find what other products I could sell besides paintball guns. Here's a quick hack. This is actually one of my favorites, and I made quite a bit of money with this. Try to brainstorm niches with unsexy products. So we still want to be in passion and lifestyle niches, but it's a bonus if there are some unsexy products in that niche. Specifically, try to find unsexy products people still really need. In the paintball niche, that might be paintballs. People would probably love writing about guns, might not so much find it so sexy to write about actual paintballs. Because here's the thing. Nobody wants to write about unsexy products. Nobody wants a website featuring unsexy products. So if you are the person who is willing to write about them, you can be the person making money let's look at a quick example. This is probably my favorite and the most perfect example of an unsexy product in a huge market. So we are in the lifestyle market of parenting, and this is just some diapers, right? Who wants to write about diapers? When you think about like building a business and making much money and living on the beach, you probably don't think about writing a 1,000-word article on diapers, but somebody has to do it. So one of the things I really like about this product too is that there are lots of reviews. There are tons of people buying this, and it tends to be, or it's in that sweet spot that tends to be highly buyable for people, which is around like 30 to 50 bucks. And you know people are going to need these over and over and over and over again. So this is a really good example of an unsexy product. After I find some products and brands, I will open up my favorite keyword tool. So we use quite a few tools, but this is one that we also really like, especially if you're starting a new site. It's Keyword Finder. And I'll just combine some of these products and brands with some like common sense buying footprints. We're going to talk about those in a second too. Here I've typed in best paintball markers. It's a type of product and it's a footprint that I know is going to be profitable. And I'm just seeing how difficult the keywords are. And remember, we are not doing keyword research. We don't need to find hundreds right now. We're doing niche research. I'm just getting a feel for how tough the keywords are and sort of what the volume is, right? So I'll do that for a handful of keywords, record them if I want, but sometimes I'll just try to get a feel for it. And that's pretty much how we do niche research. Again, that's an abbreviated version, but hopefully it's stuff you can use. Analyze your niches in depth for sure, but don't make the biggest mistake that I see people make the most often, and that is to spend too much time on it. We see people spend months trying to pick a niche, and that is absolutely not a good way to make money. So try to limit yourself to like a week, maybe 2 weeks max, but definitely like a week is when you should be sort of coming out of your niche research phase, but it certainly is very important. All right, let's move on to step 2, creating a credible, legitimate site. Why is this important? Why do we even need a credible site, right? Well, firstly for us, and what I think is the most important reason, is that it makes marketing 100 times easier. So for stage 1 sites, marketing consists almost entirely of building links. To do that, we have to email people and they will be looking at our site. If they click through that link to look at your site and it's a good looking, well-designed, credible, legitimate looking site, you will be much more likely to actually get a link. Also, it makes your site much more likely to pass manual reviews by Google and by people like Amazon employees. So basically, it reduces risk. Also, there's more business opportunity. We like to start sites in stage 1, but we eventually do like to grow them into full-fledged businesses. That is so hard to do if your site looks like it's built by an amateur. You want it to look professional, clean, and legitimate. That way you can go into phone calls or Skype calls or whatever with real business people and talk to them seriously. So how do we make them? Here are the components, basically, of a credible site. Good branding, good design, and high overall quality. And by high overall quality, I usually mean technical stuff, so it runs well, and the quality of the writing. Here is HerePup real quick so you can get just a reminder of what the site looks like and how legitimate-ish it feels, hopefully. But really, because we're limited for time, I want to zero in on branding and design because, first of all, it's the easiest to give you some hacks, right? So what do you need to have good branding and design so that you can build a credible site and make it easier to market? First of all, you need a clean theme. Yeah, you need brand colors, and you need a logo. So let's take a quick look at each of these. Themes should just be clean and simple. Doesn't really matter which theme you use. It should just be clean and easy to get around, right? So this is HerePup. You can see I've got like comments and sidebars. I've got a search function, dark text on white background, and a simple design, okay? A lot of people fall into the trap of having like really crazy designs with lots of frills. That is not what you want. Lots of us in this community use Thrive themes. You can find those at thrivethemes.com. That's what I built HerePup on. There is a little bit of learning curve, and it can be difficult to make them look good. They don't look good as some other themes right out of the box, but you can get them to be beautiful. Another popular theme is Newspaper by TagDiv. I think the last time I checked, this is the most popular theme in the world, and it's because it is so clean, the code is so clean, and it is so well designed. So this is another good one. Brand colors tend to be a little bit trickier. So here is a hack, couple hacks. If you want to choose good brand colors, try brandcolors.net. This is a list of like not every major brand, but a whole bunch of major brands. And it just shows you their brand colors. If you don't have any design skills at all, and you know you're not artistic at all, it's not a bad idea to just go through this list and pick some brand colors you like. All of these companies are making millions of dollars, so at the very least, you know they're not terrible. The only thing I would say is try to pick a color palette that's like two colors, because having a whole bunch of colors can get kind of unwieldy if you don't know about design. The other thing I like is color.adobe.com. If you want to create your own color palette, this is a tool that can help you make sure your colors work together, which is really cool. Here are HerePup's brand colors. It is like a lighter orange and then a blue that's close to Twitter blue. I'm not sure if it's the exact one, but it's more like a neon blue. I didn't put too much thought into this. I just picked two colors I liked, and I made sure that they work together using Adobe's tool. Logos. For the third one to round out our branding and design portion here, they just need to be simple and they need to be consistent with your brand. So the key to logos is to actually, what I want to say first probably is that it's hard to give advice on logos because every market, every style, every demographic is going to be different. So if you have a beauty site, the logo is going to be different than, say, a car site, and that's pretty obvious. So the two basic rules that you should be following is that they are simple and consistent. To outsource them, we honestly use Fiverr a lot. Yes, there are tons of bad designers on Fiverr, but there are some really good ones, and we do get logos here. You just kind of have to weed through some crap. If you want premium logos, you can use Upwork.com. I'm sure you guys have heard of Upwork before. There you can hire freelancers and post jobs and hire people based on portfolios, or you can use 99 Designs. That's a contest platform where you can post a contest, get a bunch of submissions, and then you can pick a winner. So the key to getting a good logo, if you're going to use one of those places, is basically to copy logos you like. And that means really kind of deciding a little bit what you want first, identifying what the key elements are in that like logo set, and then include those in your design brief. So here's what I mean. Say, for example, you wanted a minimal logo with like that was also cartoony and it had a fun font. You might find these two logos and send them to your designer. So if you want a good logo, find logos you like, send them to your designer. My favorite hack, though, is really just to make your own. And you do that by combining two fonts and two colors. So I made these in like 30 seconds. Paint Guy, Tattoo HQ, Hair City. No, these are not sites I own. These are just logos I made to demonstrate a point. But any one of these will be fine for a stage one site. 1 second, I drop some. Okay, so that is, well, actually, let me show you HerePup's logo. So here's HerePup's logo. It's really just jazzed up text, and then I put a paw print on the exclamation point. It is not fancy. The best logos usually are not. One last hack for design, something that makes a huge difference. For my money, this makes the best or the biggest difference, and that is choosing an interesting font that fits your brand. To do this, I really like a website called fontpair.co. What fontpair.co does is it takes a bunch of different fonts and they're paired by a designer, and then you can use these fonts on your own website. And honestly, when I did this for a website that I own, it made it just feel like a completely different site. So Here's an example that would be like an amazing combo for a higher end site, maybe like a beauty site or fashion site, maybe. So really, it can change the whole personality of your site. But that's the real short version of how to set up a credible site. Obviously, there's more to it. But if you get branding design and logos right, you'll get like 90% of the way there. So step 3, how to publish commercial content that actually sells stuff. So to define commercial content, we're talking about all the articles on your site that include affiliate links. And honestly, this is where most bloggers fail. They either publish the wrong type of content or the content isn't structured to actually sell stuff, which might be the more common mistake. So let's talk about what good commercial content actually means. Good commercial content needs 2 things. First of all, it needs to target commercial keywords that have low competition and that also have strong buying intent. This is how we not only generate traffic, but generate the right traffic. Also, it needs to gently push people to take action. And for us, that means clicking on affiliate links. So for example, the journey of the reader for us, the journey of the customer really, is that they're at Google, they type in something like best pet toys, they see our result in the SERPs, they click on it, they land on best pet toys for pit bulls or whatever it happens to be. Because the article is structured appropriately, they end up clicking a link. Then they go to Amazon and we get a commission for the stuff they buy on Amazon. So as an example, this is the Wirecutter. This is a stage 1 affiliate site like we were talking about. It sold for $30 million. This is a screenshot from the front page, and this is all of their recent articles for a couple of categories. Do you notice anything? I hope you do, because they are circled in pink boxes. But basically what I'm trying to point out here is that all of their articles are targeting the same footprint, and that is the best footprint. So for stage 1 sites, the buying intent bread and butter footprints are best and reviews. These keyword footprints tend to accomplish everything commercial content is supposed to accomplish. They tend to be low competition, SEO-wise, and they also tend to attract people who are far along in the buying process. Someone searching for the best something or someone searching for reviews has their credit card out. They are ready to buy. Also, it tends to be easy to write articles around this sort of stuff. So these are the bread and butter. There's actually one more. Not a lot of people use this or talk about this, so it's kind of a hack that I'm giving you. And that is the versus footprint. So these keywords, blank versus blank, they usually don't have that much volume, but they tend to be extremely, extremely easy. So if you're just starting a site and you haven't done much SEO, these can start making you money probably the quickest. So here we're looking at Titman versus Spider, again for the paintball niche. And you can see that the volume isn't that high, but it is a super, super easy keyword to rank for. If you're going to start a site, I would definitely put these in there. So we know which keywords now produce the best commercial content. How do we structure the content? For us, it boils down to 2 main types of content: what we call roundup reviews and then what we call single product reviews. Roundup reviews, excuse me, are articles that compare several different products, and these usually follow the best footprint. So for example, here's one on Health Ambition for the best baby blenders or best blenders for baby food. There's like so much alliteration there. Single product reviews review just one thing. They tend to follow the review footprint. So here's an example of a review for a centrifugal juicer, whatever that is. For both of them, the structure is almost always a big section of research and advice, plus groups of action links. And by that, I basically mean like a cluster of affiliate links, plus some kind of mini review of some products. So let's look at a quick example from HerePup. This is my article on best durable dog toys. You can ignore the ads. We're running a few tests here. But the general structure of the article is a quick introduction, then this table, and this table is my group of action links, that cluster of affiliate links. Then I launch into research and advice, which is as extensive as I can make it while still having a positive ROI site-wide. And then if you were to scroll down, you'd see a miniature review of the top recommended product, right? So this Kong dog toy, we take a little bit of time to review that product specifically. Important note, real quick, it is essential to offer real advice. For our budgets, when we're starting stage 1 sites, most of us cannot physically buy every product and review it as if we own it, right? The way we can offer value is to offer buying advice. That means we tell readers what they need to know beforehand. We tell them what types of products are available. We might tell them about safety issues or how to use the product properly. And this is how you add value if you can't review products one by one physically in your hand. So just important. When I see people writing articles like this, sometimes they try to BS stuff. And that's not a good way to make money because people don't trust you. They don't trust your site. You want to offer the best advice you can for how to make an actual buying decision. So how then do we move people to action? That's the groups of action links that we've been talking about. We found that nothing, and I mean nothing, converts better than a group of action links near the beginning of your commercial content. There are a few ways to create groups of action links, and they all work. Here is the first one. You may recognize tables like this, but first option is like big tables. So this is the quote unquote traditional way of doing it. This was a method developed by Spencer Hawes. It's where you have a huge table, lots of data, and it takes the whole page and there's like 10 products or whatever. This does work very, very well. However, it tends to take lots of time and it's very difficult to outsource. What I opted for is a mini table. So it's a smaller table, less stuff, less complicated. It's still something that I found that I could not outsource, right? So I ended up having to do all these myself. It was very time consuming. The option I like best right now, excuse me, option number 3, and that's a simple bullet list. And you put these in the same place in the article, and it acts and performs just like any other group of action links. And actually, while we have started a few tests, anecdotally, we've seen that these get even more clicks than the tables, which is something to think about. Also, the main benefit of these is that they are very, very easy to outsource. It is, of course, pretty easy to outsource a simple bullet list. And option number 4 is that you can just set single links apart on their own line. So you can see here the example, click here to find current prices on Pampers or whatever. This worked very, very, very well for me on A Penny Shaved. People forget that I only had 2 tables on that whole site, and 90% of the revenue came from links to just like this. So if you put it on its own line, it acts like a group of action links. Okay, let's move on to step 4, the scary one, building links the easy way. So honestly, if you're growing, if you hate links or hate building links, stick with me. I promise you it's not as bad as you think. So first, yes, you do need links. Links are still an important part of the Google algorithm, and it's one of the only ways to rank. And you will always do better if you have more links than if you have less links. There is a misconception, though, and that is that link building is hard. This misconception leads people to use dumb tactics like PBNs. If you use PBNs, no offense, I use them too. That's what brought my business down. So I do want to go on a quick rant because, guys, I hate PBNs. And it's not just because of the risk, which is kind of a common misconception in itself. It's because it's a bad business decision. So let's do some quick math so that I can illustrate. Here on the left, we have PBNs. When I was buying PBNs, of course, you want to buy like good expired domains. So I'd spend like $200 on a domain, $5 on hosting, $50 to make the site look full. So for one link, you're spending like $250 plus you have to maintain that site. For something like a guest post, you need to find 15 sites, which is like, I don't know, 10 minutes of your time and $0. You need to send the emails, which is another 10 minutes of your time and $0. If somebody accepts it, and you typically only need 15 emails to get like one acceptance, then you can outsource it on iWriter for $15. So on one side, you have like $255 plus a bunch of time for one link, or you have about 20 minutes and $15 for one link with white hat link building. It's just absolutely no contest, and it is important. The overall point is that link building is not hard, guys. It's easy, and it doesn't even take more work. I am with you if you think it's hard, though. I used to think it was hard too. After I learned it and started applying it to my own site, I started having really pretty crazy results. And so you can see here at the bottom of this curve where I started to figure it out and just how fast I was able to build a bunch of links on my own site for relatively cheaply, honestly. So there are lots of tactics for link building. We teach lots of them and we use lots of them. The one we're going to cover here is the easiest one. The one that I think is that if you're a beginner, you should go after this one. And it's not just because, or it's not bad because it's easy. And in fact, guest posting will probably get you the most powerful links that you will get over the course of your site most of the time. But they're awesome. They're simple. They stand the test of time. They're built on relationships, and they get you very powerful links. So there are two ways to do that. Tactic 1, pitch open solicitations. That means sites that are actively looking for people to guest post. And you do have to kind of check these sites to make sure that they're not like guest post farms, but most aren't. And for people who are already looking for guest post to like come in so they can publish them, the conversion is usually really high. Here's how I find them. I use some simple advanced queries like these: keyword plus, write for us, keyword plus, become a contributor. Just comments and stuff. There's a bigger list of these, of course, but these are like the main ones that I use. And you'll usually get results like this. So this is like fitness, right for us, and you can just scroll down hundreds and find hundreds and hundreds of opportunities. You can also combine different keywords with different footprints. So you've got write for us, contribute, become a contributor, whatever. And if you had a fitness site, you could plug in keywords like fitness, workout, running, yoga, whatever it is. And it's really easy to find hundreds or thousands, most of the time thousands, honestly, of guest posting opportunities. Then you send a script like this one. And I'll read it for you because I know the font is a little bit small. It says, "Hey name, I really love your site. I especially loved this post." And you might link to a post. "I also happen to see that you're accepting guest posts. I'd be tickled pink if you considered publishing one of mine. Here are some examples of my work." Then you can go on to say, "I took the liberty of coming up with similar ideas for your consideration." Then you might list some ideas and say, "Do they sound good? If so, let me know. I'll be happy to write it for you." And that's it. Then you just send the damn emails. And it's honestly pretty easy. Using the queries we just talked about, you can probably find a list of 1,000 prospects relatively quickly. And if you send that sort of script, you can expect like a 5 or 10% conversion. If you do the math, what it basically means is if you want one link per day, you need to send like 10 to 20 emails per day. That takes all of 15 minutes. So guys, this is easy stuff. And it's really rewarding when you start getting it right. Of course, you do need to keep track of those. So I wanted to show you this spreadsheet so that you might, like take a screenshot and then replicate it yourself, but it's not fancy at all. I just have a column for all the information I need, which is like the name of the site, the URL, the editor's name, etc. And then a column for the status, which is like, are they pitched yet? Do I need revisions? Is the link live? That sort of thing. So that's tactic number 1, and that's how I keep track of it. Tactic number 2. This is how you get the like serious super duper power links. And the funny thing about this one is the process is really even simpler. So that is to make friends with top tier editors in your site. So what you want to do here is find the top 20 sites in your niche. Then identify the editors. It's usually on like a staff page or an about page. Then you just make friends. You reach out and you say, hey, or you have a laugh, or you ask them a question, whatever it is. Your goal is to make friends. You don't ask them anything to start. You just try to be their friend. And hopefully that's relatively easy to do. After they like you, you say something like, hey, I know you're busy. If you need some free content, I'd be happy to write it for you. Is that something you'd be interested in? Most of the time, if you're already friends, they're like 90% going to say yes. I use this exact tactic to get a link from Docster.com, which is like, I think the most authoritative site in the niche. And I'm still friends with the editor. So it really does work. Final hack here. Guest post in other markets than your own. So I know the adage is that links need to be relevant, and they do. But if you can find common ground between your market and somebody else's market, you can pitch guest posts that are relevant to both your site and their site. Here's what I mean. Let's say you had a parenting blog. You like the idea of writing about diapers, and you took that idea after this webinar and you ran with it. But eventually you started running out of parenting sites. Excuse me. You could instead start pitching yoga sites and ask to write stuff like 7 yoga routines for busy moms, which is a very natural thing for somebody who owns a parenting site to write. It's something natural for a yoga site to publish. If you do this in a bunch of markets, you will essentially never, ever run out of guest posting opportunities. So when we talk about scaling guest posting, this is really the way to do it. And that's kind of the quick overview of link building. Very easy, very rewarding. After I started learning to do it, it really became one of my favorite things. Okay, so listen, guys. At this point, I'm sure you are excited about building a stage 1 site. And honestly, why wouldn't you be, right? If you achieved only a moderate level of success, moderate based on like what we see from our students, and you were making like $4,000 a month in 2 years, you would have an asset you could sell for $120,000, or you could not sell it and you could just keep making $4,000 a month and use that as your full-time salary. But do you remember how many times it took me to be successful? And I'm going to show you this again. Please don't laugh at me. I just want to reiterate all the stupid failures I had while I was learning how to do this stuff, because it's important. If you don't know what to do, it's very easy to fail before you succeed. I want to help you skip all that, okay? I have already done the trial and error for you. You shouldn't have to. Instead, I want to give you the benefit of my knowledge. I essentially want to give you the cheat codes to profitable stage 1 sites. So I know we've covered lots of stuff in this webinar, but it's really only a webinar. It's like an hour and a half long, right? You can take that knowledge and you can use it, but because of the time constraints, you can't do anything aside from talk about the basics, okay? I do have something that's much more advanced. This is something that we've been developing for a really long time, and the premise is you can watch us build a stage 1 site from 0 to finished, basically over our shoulders. So I'd love to show it to you. If that's something you'd be interested in, please let me know in chat like you did before. So again, we don't have to show it to you, but if you do want to see that program, give me a yes or a 1 in chat. Okay, good. Because we've done just that. We have built a stage 1 site from 0 to finished, and we've documented literally every step of the entire process live. I'd like to introduce you to what we are calling the Authority Site System. This is the ultimate Authority Site starter course. It was created by both Gail and I over a course of many months, and it took that long because we were actually doing it. We were actually building the site. So that's the premise of it, is we are building it right in front of you. You follow us every step of the way, from finding a niche to outsourcing content to getting the site live to building links. You watch us do everything. This is a brand new site, so it's not Health Ambition, and it is not Here Pup. This is something we created from scratch specifically for this purpose. You'll follow us over the shoulder in 75 different text and video lessons across 5 modules, and there's something like 60,000 words of supporting content, which is really insane. Like, we wrote a ton of stuff for this. So here's the basic structure. First, we lay the foundation of good marketing, because before you dive in and start doing stuff, you really do need to know some stuff. You need to know some theory. And so we do that first. That's about 12 training videos. Then we walk you through niche research and keyword research live. And again, this is not theory. We don't just tell you how to do it. We do it right in front of you. That's 12 videos. That also includes every single spreadsheet we use, like the one from earlier. We give it to you. If it's in our business, if we use it for our business, we have created a copy for you to download and use as well, so that you can follow along exactly. Then we help you set up your site the way Google wants it. And it's very easy to make mistakes here, and so we did not want to skip it. Then we help you brand it. Then we help you optimize the on-page SEO. Then we help you optimize the technical SEO, which almost nobody talks about and what we think is highly, highly underrated. Then, at least if you're a dork like me, it starts to get really fun, and we start talking about content. So we show you exactly how to create and outsource content that both generates traffic and converts people into visitors. That includes the exact briefs we send to agencies and the actual agencies. So you can watch us use these briefs, plug in, kind of like the fill in the blanks, send them off, and then you can look at the actual content on the site, and we give all that stuff to you. Finally, we unlock the secrets, quote unquote, of link building, and that's in quotes because it's not really secret. It's just battle-tested techniques, battle-tested systems that we have developed over many years of building links, and we give those to you as well. And again, I feel like I have to say it again, guys. It is not theory. So it's so easy for people to talk about link building tactics. It's very difficult to go out there and do it. You can watch us go build the links, and you can follow along. Along with the lessons, we've also prepared a lot of the work for you. So for most of the tasks in here, we've created templates. All you have to do is download them and fill in the blanks. And those are templates for literally like everything: market research, keyword research, site layouts, content briefs, and of course, link building. Here's what I think is the best part, though. As we looked around the industry, what we found was one of the main obstacles for people was taking action. People didn't know what to do first. There was information overload. So on top of the linear lesson structure, we also prepared a Trello board that you can download, and it'll act as your to-do list. So like, we're talking about building stage 1 sites. Literally every single task is on here. If you just do this, you will have a stage 1 site. It would be impossible not to. We worked a lot on this. Each task is extremely detailed, and it's tied to the lessons. There's a clear expected outcome. There are associated templates and checklists of things to do for those tasks. So all you need to do is follow it. And honestly, this makes the program as step-by-step as possible. So inside tasks, which is the acronym for the Authority Site System, here's what you get. You get 75 training videos where we show you every tiny step of building stage 1 authority sites. So we literally document everything on video, and you can watch it. And that is worth about $2,000. You get dozens of copy and paste templates. So anything you need to do to outreach or outsource, we've created a template for you. All you have to do is download it, fill in the blanks, and let it rip. On top of the 75 training videos and on top of the copy and paste templates, we give you every internal tool we use. So we've got spreadsheets and tools that we develop for our business. Then they give us insight into content. They give us insight into link building. They give us insight into niche research. We give you every single one. That's worth $1,500 on a bad day. On top of the 75 training videos and on top of the copy and paste templates, on top of every tool we use, we give you the step-by-step Trello system. And this is probably the most valuable thing in the entire course. This is the cheat code for Stage 1 Authority sites. That's worth about $4,000. On top of the training videos and the copy and paste templates, every internal tool we use, and the Trello system, we give you live demonstrations of each tactic. So again, this is not theory. This is as close as we can get to sitting down at your desk with you and doing it right in front of you. That's worth about $1,000. So for everything, 75 training videos, copy and paste templates, every internal tool we use, and a step-by-step Trello system, plus live demonstrations of each tactic, the value is about $9,500. So that seems expensive to you. Yeah, it might be expensive, but let me ask you, would that amount of money be worth it if you had the exact step-by-step process you needed to build a website that earns money every single month on autopilot? Would that amount of money be worth it if you could skip the entire trial and error process of learning how to make money online because I have already done it for you and I don't want you to go through it? Would that amount of money be worth it if you could quit your job sometime in the next year? That was my big goal. Maybe that's your goal too. And would that amount of money be worth it if you had the peace of mind knowing that you were doing it right and you didn't have to worry about losing your business like I did? Would that amount of money be worth it then? Now, people are already getting results from this system. Okay, so I want to read you a few things that some of the people said. This is from Robert Botha. He says, I started my first content site 7 weeks ago, and I've already made my first affiliate sales. That means I'm on the right track to becoming a total baller. The Authority Site system was launched at the perfect time for me, just 2 or 3 weeks after I started my site. And this is one of the most important parts, I think. I was able to course correct and avoid newbie mistakes that would have been a total pain in the task to fix down the road. The highly actionable start-to-finish process of building authority sites documented by Gail and Perrin is a must-have if you're just getting into this game. You'll save so much money and, more importantly, time that would have been spent dicking around following the all-fluff, no-action advice given by gurus on their blogs. Cut out the middleman and learn directly from the pros the first time around. James says, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, so the Authority Site system was the exact blueprint I needed to start the right way. The system is detailed but easy to follow. I can't even imagine the amount of time and frustration this has saved me. It's efficient and effective, Eric says. If you're looking for a step-by-step, easy-to-follow system to build an authority site from scratch, TAS is the way to go. Everything is laid out properly. All you have to do is just follow exactly what has been taught in the system. They even included templates and checklists on things to do throughout the journey. It's a no-brainer system to follow. Todd says, the Authority Site system has given me the structure needed to stay focused while taking a specific action, and that's the whole goal. That will help me monetize my sites from the beginning and through the various growth stages. And then Hugh says, a couple of things I really like about TAS is the ability to work at my own pace, follow proven systems, and this flatters me a little bit, the support is second to none. We also showed it to some veterans of online marketing to see what they thought, and they liked it too. So this is Alistair. He says the Authority Site system is going to cut short a lot of my conversations because in the future, if someone asks me how I built a website that replaced my job, I can simply point them in the direction of TAS from Authority Hacker. It's all in there. Best of all, Gail and Perrin structured the information in a step-by-step format. This helps to make sure you are always working on the right thing at the right time, because this is one of the biggest problems for beginners and pros alike. Working on the wrong thing at the wrong time. And I agree. So if you want an authority site on Rails type of course, then this is the one you should get so you always stay on the right track. Also, if the community is anything to go by, Facebook group alone will be worth the price of admission. So how much does this thing really cost? So remember, the total value of the course is like $9,500. We're not going to ask you to pay that today. It's normally $597. However, it's really important to us to help as many people out as possible. We want to get you started on your own site, and we want as many people to get on that road as we can. So we don't want you to pay $597. Today it's going to be $497. This is a special though, so the price will be going back up in about 3 days. This is a limited time thing. So the price right now and for the next couple of days is $497 for everything in the course. So if you want to get started now, you can click the button in the sidebar, or you can sign up at authorityhacker.com/system. Of course, if you're not 100% happy, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. And by the way, I did not forget, if you want the list of niches, of profitable niches, so you can take what you learned in this webinar and go start a site right now, go to authorityhacker.com/niches-webinar. So we're going to stick around for about half an hour for questions. And with that, I will kick it back over to Gail.
All right. Perrin, congrats. The presentation was good. And we have a bunch of questions, and I actually need to do one thing on my computer before we take the questions. Mark, can you take some questions maybe?
Sure. So Robert's asking, would this work for an existing site?
It depends on where the site is, So if you have, I would say, if you've got a site that is in stage 1 that's not making any money yet, then yes. Or if you have a site where you're not making affiliate commissions yet, then yes. If you have a site that is already an affiliate site and making good money, then what you probably want is Authority Hacker Pro, which isn't available now, but it will be available next year. However,
this year, 2017.
This year, yeah. Sorry. It is available after you get the Authority site system.
Yeah, there is an upsell for Authority Hacker Pro behind. So if you buy the Authority site system today, you actually get an offer to also join Authority Hacker Pro at a slightly discounted price. So like, part of what you paid for the site system actually goes towards Authority Hacker Pro. So that is what's up.
That's okay. The next question is, a number of people are asking about the valuation method, like how you get the 120K or 200K. Like what's the sort of logical reasoning behind that?
Yeah, so basically it's what people will buy it for, right? So the market standard is anywhere between 20 times the monthly profit versus, or all the way up to like, sometimes 35 times. For me, I actually got it valued at a couple brokerages, and I got a few lower estimates, a few higher estimates. The valuation that was in the middle was $210,000. But if you have a website that is an authority or that is making money with affiliate commissions and it's all white hat, you can usually bet on 30 times your monthly profit.
Okay, great. Carol's asking, is the Facebook group included free in the Authority site system course? No, it's not. It's there's a special mastermind group for the Authority site system that you can, if you want to, you can pay to join that as well. You'll get the offer after you check out. It's entirely voluntary, and you don't need it at all to go through the course. The course is super comprehensive, and it's designed to sort of answer all your questions for you as you're going through it. So yeah, it's up to you.
If there's a big problem, we also have support. There's a support thing inside the course, but we're not doing in-depth one-on-one consulting on the support.
Yeah, Tyler's saying, how do you know people want to steal your idea? you're putting your keyword research on display for all internet marketers to take?
Yeah, it's a good question actually. So the case study site is definitely one of these things where we actually share everything about it. So yeah, you literally have access to the spreadsheet of our keyword research. You have everything. Like it's a real case study where we open up everything. The question for us is like, are people going to copy it or not? So right now we kind of built what we call the V1 of that site. We've done some marketing for it, but if a lot of people copy it, to be honest, we'll just keep it as a case study to the site. If people are being fair, then we'll actually develop that site furthermore. So that's essentially like the honest reply to this. If people actually copy that site, then yeah, it's like we have many other sites, but we built it like with the perspective of growing it, and we'll see how people behave, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Just for anyone who missed it as well, the list of niches is at the bottom left of the screen. You can see it at authorityhacker.com/niches-webinar. You can get all of them there. And if you want to check out the Authority Site System, you can go to authorityhacker.com/system. So just going through some more questions now. Rowan's asking about a payment plan. We don't offer a payment plan for this course.
Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, it's anyway, it's gonna take some money for you to build your site. So we're like, if you don't have the money available for the course, for the whole course right now, then it's unlikely you have the money to develop a whole site as well. Like it does take some money as well. So
yeah,
so that's why Casey says there will be at least 25 clone sites. If there is, then we'll just keep the site as it is. Like, to be honest, like we are developing other sites in private. We're doing exactly the same stuff, but you know, we had to share one so that you see exactly what it is, and that's why a lot of marketers don't do it usually. Well, you know, we're gonna suck it up, and we've done it now, so that's it, you know.
Perrin, Bob's asking, why did you reveal your site? He says it blows his mind.
Well, it's a combination of a couple things. One is that, you know, I have to be able to explain that I'm successful, right? And like that's the biggest reason to do it now. But also, I have already lived through so many copycats for that site. I published a case study on Brian Dean's site about Gusto Graphics, and so people kind of figured out what my site was from there. And I've had so many copycats.
He says it, no, in the blog post.
Yeah, he does. And there have just been like dozens of copycats of that site. And the reality is that I am beating them all anyway. So like even after all the copycats, my traffic and revenue has just continuously gone up. And so it worries me a lot less than it used to. And a few of my main competitors, the guys who I was really worried about, I've become friends with them over time just because we all know each other, because we're, you know, we compete with everything. So yeah, it's not a huge deal for me anymore. And if you really wanted to find it, you could anyway.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think it's okay. I think once your site gets mature enough, you know, copycats are less of a problem. It's the same for Health and Mission, but you know, we have thousands of backlinks and like hundreds and hundreds of pages. Like, you know, if someone wants to copy Health and Mission, it's gonna cost them a six-figure amount at this point.
Yeah,
and so and you know, it's getting to the same point with HealPub as well. So, you know, it's not like anyone can just come in and copy the site. We have enough. They're strong enough, these sites now, to be revealed, and people can just copy them. It's like the guy that created the Wirecutter. It's like, yeah, good luck, go create the Wirecutter on a much lower scale, of course, but still, you know.
Rick's asking, do we take PayPal? Yes, we do. PayPal and Stripe, so any major credit cards accepted. Apollo's asking, how much money should we budget to implement the Authority Site System?
Yeah, so it's a good question. We actually have a whole budgeting lesson inside the course to help you figure that out, because there's not just one answer. We set the minimum budget at $1,000. So I've heard some people say $500. I no longer really think that's enough. But the other thing that we talk about in that lesson is to leverage your skills. So if you're a good writer, we talk about how to budget so that you're spending money on the stuff that you're not necessarily good at. If you're not a good writer, we talk about why you should be spending more money on content. And I think we set the optimal budget at like $5,000. But for HealPub, I probably spent $1,000 in the first 2 months getting it up, and over the first 6 months, I spent maybe $2,000, and I did that by leveraging my skills. And even if I hadn't leveraged my skills, I would have still had a pretty good site. So, budget's one of the things that is fluid, but we set the minimum at about $1,000.
So Julie's asking, if you're already an Authority Hacker Pro member, do you have access to this? Most likely,
if you join, if you
most likely,
join
yes,
before
if
the
you-
September launch, that's the answer.
yeah, you can access it by just going to your home page, and there's a big blue button in the middle of it. Tyler's also asking, where can we learn about stage 2 and 3? That's all covered in our Authority Hacker Pro course, which is a much more advanced, much more in-depth.
There's more
product.
content in general as well. Like it's
Yeah, it's hundreds of videos in there.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to get it, you can buy the Authority Site System, and there's an upsell to Authority Hacker Pro at the moment. There's a discount.
With a discount, yeah. With a discount
So-
that we don't give usually, like it is actually discounted from the launch price.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Chiara's asking, I've heard building sites based on keywords for doctors, lawyers, real estate, etc. How do these types of sites work? Is a referral service of some sort set up?
Yeah, so that's kind of all the rage now, especially with like SourceWave and stuff. It is one way to make money with niche sites. It's absolutely not what we're doing there, but just to answer your question, what they usually do is they target local keywords, rhinoplasty in Florida or whatever, and then they will call doctors in that area and say, hey, I'm ranking #1 in Google. Do you want to rent the page? And they'll essentially just rent web pages on their site. So it is one way to do it. It's not something we like to do because we don't like phone sales.
Yeah. I can't be bothered to call doctors and stuff,
Karen saying, who writes the content for HerePup? Like, where do you find writers?
Helen Sanders, every website.
Yeah, so that's kind of a cool story, I guess. When I started HerePup, I was in this crazy mindset, just having lost a business, and I was like more focused than any other time I've been in my life. And like Gail can tell you how fast these articles are going up on my site, but I wrote the first 60,000 words myself, which is about the length of a novel, and I did that in like 5 weeks. After it started earning money, I started using some content agencies, and I started using a combination of freelancers and other agencies. I have a couple freelancers who I've met just over the course of me doing this stuff who I like to go to, but I also like when you start to scale, 1 or 2 people isn't enough, and you need an agency. In the course, and for the site that we built with the tactics in the course, we actually like TextBroker. We do mention other agencies in the course, but TextBroker we think is really good. And I think every article on the
It's
site.
for newbies. I like it because they don't need to hire writers. There's no hiring process,
Right.
which can be scary if you're starting, if it's the first time you're like buying content and stuff. So
Yeah.
I found it was a good balance of quality while not having to hire, essentially. And price was okay too.
Yeah, so you will be able to see that too on the site, because what we do is we created article briefs that you can download, plug in your information, and then just plug them directly into TextBroker, and that's exactly what we did for this site. To answer your question, HerePup is a mix of a lot of different stuff because it's been in existence for 2 years, and I was bootstrapping it, and writing is my main skill, so I tried to leverage that.
So a few people were asking about replays. We are going to record this and hopefully send a replay out. So check your email. There has been a few times in the past it didn't work, but hopefully that should be okay. Thomas is asking, how much time do you spend, or Perrin, how much time did you spend on your first websites while you still worked in the cubicle?
Well, it was very different between A Penny Shaved and HerePup.com. A Penny Shaved, I feel like, was lucky, and it was at a golden time in SEO. So I only had 15 articles on that site. I wrote all of those myself, and then I bought a couple links from a service, which still worked back then. That was pretty much it. And it stayed at 15 articles. It was earning $1,300 a month at 15 articles forever before
Which is good, yeah.
before I finally had the bright idea of like, maybe I can do more with it. And then I started publishing more content and it started earning a lot more money. For HearPup, I worked insane amounts of time, way more than I would probably recommend at first, because I wanted a lot of content up. And then, it trickles off. The thing about SEO and stage 1 sites is that it front loads the work. So you end up doing a lot of work to start it, and then it becomes more passive as time goes on, unless you want to do more stuff with it. So, I would take 2 or 3 months off from HearPup sometimes and not do anything. But the work was up front. And then, if you're thinking about what it means for you, I would plan 5 or 10 hours a week at least up front. And then, you can go as hard as you want, really.
This is a good question coming in from Sergio right now. He says, wasn't Google clearly against guest posting links previously? Is it easy for them to flag?
Yeah, I answered to that. So here's the deal. After Google Penguin hit, so it's been a while now, guest posting became all the rage, and everyone was like, oh, guest posting. But the problem is essentially guest posting became private blog networks. So people would have sites that would only be here to host guest posts, to link out to other sites, and, did monetize maybe a bit with AdSense, but, 100% of the content was guest posts. And so that became, the trend in SEO. And then when that became the trend, Google was like, well, we don't like this kind of guest posting, like the old school type. We're fine with it. It's not all your content, or it's not an entire website being built out of guest posts, and that's good. But like, if you guys take it to this extent, then we're gonna be fighting it. And that was a couple of years ago. And now that's not what we do when we talk about guest posting. We talk about like guest posting on real sites with audiences, sites that have readers, sites that get shares, etc. So this kind of guest post is definitely not dangerous. The problem is everyone, it's kind of a denomination thing. Like, everyone calls guest posts, like a lot of people call guest posts PBNs just so that it's not called PBN and they can sell it for more money. But that's not what we're going to talk about in there. And we're not selling you links anyway. We're just going to show you how to get them. So actually, for us, our incentive is to show you how to do it the right way, so you don't tell people that we actually got your new site penalized. So yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, just so this wasn't clear, guys, this $497 price, it's only valid for a couple days. If you go to the authorityhacker.com/system, you'll see there's a timer on there. When that finishes, the price goes up. And unlike most online marketers, or some unscrupulous online marketers rather, we really do mean it. We've always done this in the past, so the price will be going up. So if you want it at this price, you should grab it now. Rome just asked, is .com the best for domain name? Absolutely.
Yeah, we talk about it in the course as well, actually, like picking your domain name and how to find a good .com, etc., which can be a challenge sometimes.
Yeah, Alan asked, how long do you recommend to write articles for? So like what word count?
Yeah, so that's also a very interesting question, and it's something we cover. If you want some like a really nice, weird, cool, detailed study, you can go to authorityhacker.com/short-content, because like what you'll hear is that longer content is always better. And while it's true, longer content sometimes tends to perform better in Google, it also means the articles cost more. So from a business perspective, there's a happy medium for length. And in that article, I show you that some of my best articles on HearPup are like 700 words. So
yeah,
for affiliate content, we usually like to put a little bit more oomph behind them. And so we recommend like 1,200, 1,500 words. But most of the time, for like low competition keywords, it doesn't have to be super long.
I mean, I think the really long content trend comes from online marketers themselves, because everyone's kind of like competing to write the longest article in the industry. But in B2C niches, like in any kind of consumer niche, like people are not ready to read 5,000 words when they are looking to buy a blender. They just want to know the information in a quick way. So especially if you consider that a lot of people are on mobile these days. It's like, I don't think long content is the future, actually. It's just something online marketers got obsessed over, and a couple of big guys started promoting, and that became the trend.
Yeah, and on HerePup, actually, like one of my highest traffic articles for a long time was "Do Dogs Cry?" And if you think about that article, it would just be impossible to write 3,000 words on it. You know, like you just need some articles, you just need to go answer the question, and that's it.
Cool. Is HerePup strictly an Amazon site, or is there other monetization methods in there?
There are,
You have ads, right?
yeah. So it was Amazon for a while. This is what we mean by stage one, is that we monetize with an easy affiliate method first for me and for most people, and what we recommend is Amazon, and then you can move into other stuff. So after that, I moved into ads, and I had some still have really good success with media.net. There's also AdSense units on the site, and those make decent money, not as much as I'd like, although I never spent time optimizing them. And then now, if you look at the site, there's another affiliate program on a few of the articles because it makes more money. What would probably be a good next direction for the site is looking at the few good dog info products on like ClickBank and doing reviews of them and that sort of thing, because those can make money too. So yeah, I started with Amazon, and then the site evolved from there, and I'm sure will continue to evolve.
And this question was asked a while back, but what plugin was it that you're using to make the small review roundup table with the star ratings on the top of your post?
So that's Thrive Content Builder, also sold by Thrive Themes. You can make any table with that content builder. It's a little tough to learn, but once you learn it, it's just very flexible and very powerful. If you don't want to go buy something, the free one that a lot of people use is called Table Press, and that's how you can make most tables with it. But it's probably what most of the people who are using like those big tables are using. But there are also plenty others out there that I have not tried.
Cool. And a few people asked earlier, how did you get your link from the Huffington Post?
So what most people are doing is like paying editors. You know, I actually knew somebody who was writing for Huffington Post at the time, and she was a friend from college. She doesn't work there anymore, but she wrote for like Vice and a bunch of other places. But she was writing an article. She happened to be writing an article on dogs for the Huffington Post, and I was like, hey, you know, we were just like chatting on Facebook one day, and like that came up, and I was like, all right, yeah. And so she's kind of did me a solid there. But yeah, you know, like I don't worry about getting links from really crazy sites unless they're in my niche most of the time.
Cool. And what kind of, Quincy asked this right at the start, what kind of domain authority can you achieve in 1 year, like ballpark?
Yeah, it's not the most relevant question to be asking unless you're trying to compare yourself to the sites that you're doing in like niche.
Unless you're trying to sell links.
Yeah, unless you're trying to sell links. But and it really depends on your skills. The more important thing is to think about what you can do and how many links it takes to get there in your market, and then see if you can compete with the sites in your niche. Because for me, the DA I can achieve with the resources and skills I have now might be a little bit higher than somebody who's just starting. So it's going to be different for everybody. The more important thing is to understand whether or not you can compete.
And Alan's asking, are there any specific guys from Fiverr you recommend for the design stuff? I don't think there are, but one tip I have is if you look at the feedback rating they have, I think you can filter that in the search, and then just look through their portfolio, and if the types of designs they're doing is what you're after, then just try it.
Actually, shameless plug here, we do list 3 gigs.
Yeah, we do.
In the logo lesson.
Like we literally say, go buy from these ones. So, well, I mean, we try to make the authority site system, but just do this type course, you know. So whenever there is just a clear answer for like some of the gigs we've used, we're like, okay, here's the link, go get it, you know.
Cool.
So we actually give some of them in there.
Some of them
I don't
are-
have them in mind right now. I wouldn't mind giving them, but like I would need to go get it. It would take a while.
And he's also asking, Jackie just asked, do you own a dog?
Yeah, that's why I started the site. Actually, I had just gotten a dog the Christmas before. So the first article on HerePup was published January 10th, 2015. Like a week before that Christmas, I got Chewy, and she's probably still on the About page. I can't even remember what's happening with the About page, but yeah. And that's why the site previously was named Chewy Says, because I got a dog and named her Chewy, and I didn't know that there's a big brand with that same name randomly. And so I had to change it because they sent me nasty letters. But
Was that Chewie as in Chewbacca from Star Wars?
yeah, I think so. What happened was her name was Beauty, and it was just a crappy name. And my friend was working at a foster center and was like fostering her. And her husband, who's one of my good friends, had already given her a different name because he hated calling her Beauty. And Chewy just seemed to fit. So yeah, we don't call her Chewbacca or anything, but it wasn't even my idea. I didn't even name my own dog.
All right, guys, we'll take just a few more questions before we have to wrap up here. Robert's saying, how many articles per month should we be putting up on the Stage 1 site?
Actually, for the course, we actually do what we call a V1, where it's like you have a version 1 of your website, and we aim to have, I think, 50 pieces of content, and so after that, just do some link building, and your site should already be making money, right? So yeah, that's what you're looking at with this course. This course is 50 pieces of content and something like 60 or 70 links being built to a site, and after that, basically we conclude the course on saying, well, you can expand on the types of content we've seen in the course, and you can expand on the link building if you want to stay at Stage 1, or we can show you how to do Stage 2 and Stage 3 inside Authority Hacker Pro.
Annabelle's asking, is there a particular theme you guys use for your Authority sites?
We use Focus Blog from Thrive Themes, but there's no, like, a theme doesn't make a website. Like, actually, the case study site uses another theme, and it looks really good, actually.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I would argue it looks better.
Yeah, and I think people spend way too much time on the themes. So I can tell you that HerePup was built on Focus Blogs. All of the copycats I see are built the exact same way, but none of the sites that I've ever built for myself have been on the same theme as the previous site, and it just doesn't matter. What matters most is that it's simple, fast, and clean.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just avoid using the default WordPress theme. Otherwise, when you're doing outreach, your people are going to think your blog's like a PBN or something. So, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Sergio's saying, do you care much about link anchor text when you? I presume that's when you're doing guest posting.
No, not really. Like, we just kind of do it as naturally as possible. We talk about other tactics inside the Authority site system that don't rely on like writing guest posts, and so they're a little bit more efficient. And for those, you don't have any editorial control, so you don't even have to worry about it anyway. However, I will say that I do know some guys in the industry who do worry about anchor text, and they try to get a few exact matches and keep it natural. But for the most part, I try specifically not to worry about it at all, because that's what makes it the most natural.
All right. And Stu's saying, if I like the travel niche, what's a good way to measure buying intent?
Travel niche, I would say, is a bit broad. But more importantly, you need to figure out what people buy when they travel, right? So, like, they buy plane tickets, sure, but that one's probably going to be competitive. What else do they buy? They buy, like, stuff for the plane, so like plane socks and plane pillows and plane masks and earplugs and stuff like that. And if you figure out all the stuff people buy, and then within the context of the theme of your website, you create content that recommends these products. And so that's how you find stuff to sell within basically any niche.
Yeah, for the travel niche, you can use, so we've got this footprint best, right? If you go into a keyword tool and you use instead best travel, you'll come up with tons of stuff. Best travel backpack, best travel shoes, best travel tent, whatever. I will say with travel specifically, I've done some link building in that niche, and it is much harder. There's this weird epidemic in the travel niche where people want to charge you for links. So like you'll reach out for
Yeah.
guest posts and they'll say, yeah, sure, for $250. And so it gets really annoying in that niche. So it's something to think about if you were thinking about going in there. There are people who just crush it in that niche, but the link building is really weird in there right now.
Okay, well, just a few more questions, and we'll have to wrap it up here, guys. It's 4:30 in the morning here where we are, so quite tired now. Vince is saying, should you use a static homepage or a blog, like a blog roll?
It doesn't really matter, to be honest. I like a static homepage better because it feels more professional. But if you want an example of a bad static homepage, look at Authority Hacker. It's horrible. And the funny thing is, a lot of people copy it, and that makes me laugh so hard because
that was literally the first version of the site we ever made.
Yes.
Like, one of the first things we ever did on that site.
Yeah, and we still
haven't
some
bothered to
content builder
update it.
stuff. Like you can check the Authority Site System sales page to see how much we evolved in terms of being able to build pages. But like, it can be done poorly as well. I still like it better personally. I like a static page, but in the end, it's not going to affect your ability to make money or not. So it's not that relevant.
Now, if you're thinking about static homepages like they were with a pennyshave.com, where it's an article with affiliate links, that's probably not something we recommend. We recommend
it's a navigation page, the homepage.
Right. Yeah. Homepage should be for navigation and to put your best content at the front.
So quite a few people have been asking about Longtail Pro. Do we recommend it? Is there something better? What do we use? What tools, etc.? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's not very good in the current market. I prefer, like, if you want what Longtail Pro should always have been, like Keyword Finder, kwfinder.com. There is a free trial as well, so you can check it out. And that's the tool that we use inside the Authority Site System. It's also cheaper. And for advanced people, like in Authority Hacker Pro, etc., the new Ahrefs Keyword Explorer is probably the best keyword tool right now.
All right, I think we'll have to wrap it up there then.
Someone's asking what is the difference between Authority Hacker Pro and Authority Site System, so I think we should wrap up on that. Essentially, these two programs are complementary at this point. The Authority Site System is how to start a new site and build a site that can get into the mid 4 figures, maybe high 4 figures per month, as what we call a stage 1 authority site. And Authority Hacker Pro is how to do what we call add upgrade modules to this stage 1 site to transform it into a real authority site which has like a lot of informational content and different business models and an email list and an audience, maybe even products if you get to stage 3, and does all the advanced stuff that you see us do with authority sites. But the stage 1 essentially is here to bootstrap the brand, and it's here to make you profitable. And if you're profitable, then you can grow, you can invest time and money into your site, and essentially, get to these stages that require a lot of resources to get to, because the site pays for itself. So that's it. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. So guys, thank you for coming. Sorry if I'm not usually I have more energy than that, but it is 4:40 a.m. right now. Thanks for checking out the presentation. If you want to check out the Authority Site System, it is a program Perry and I have been working really hard on. Like, we have been doing everything over the shoulder. We've actually built a whole site for it. We have been writing a lot of content for it. We have been throwing away a lot of content as well. So it's not like we record a video and we just put it online. Like, there are like 75 videos, but I'd say we recorded over 100 at this point.
Yeah.
So it is something that I think you're gonna find extremely actionable if you want to build authority sites and you want to finally take action this year. That is, something that a lot of pros that have checked it out told me was one of the best in the market. I don't want to tout my own horn here, but I think it is really worth it if you want to check it out. So go on the authorityhacker.com/system if you want to check it out. it is discounted for another 2 days and a couple of hours. Otherwise, it's not, you're going to have to pay a bit more for it. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you guys on the podcast. We'll see you on the blog. We'll see you maybe on another webinar. Thanks for joining, and have a good day / good night. Bye.
Bye.